Bonjour la classe et bienvenue à la leçon pour aujourd'hui. So today's lesson is titled Les personnes mystérieuses. Actually, this is something that I'm doing in my in-person classes. Mysterious person works pretty well, but it works better in person or on Zoom. And today we are not Zooming. So I'm changing this lesson up slightly for you watching from home or in a classroom on video. But so today you will need the Google form and we'll follow along, and you'll still get a lot of great input. So today's lesson is going to be an input-based lesson. It's going to look a little bit different. So by the end of class, you'll actually be able to write your own simple original sentences. So not just copying mine, but writing or creating your own sentences, just 3 simple sentences to describe your likes and your dislikes. Okay, so we're going to start off, firstly, our lesson today just with a little discussion, checking in with each other, how you doing, talking about the weekend, that kind of thing in French. We'll write it up, and that's going to be like the first part of our lesson, and then we'll move into the second part where we're building towards you writing your own sentences. So, classe, dis-moi aujourd'hui, comment tu te sens? Moi, je me sens très contente parce que c'est le week-end. Oh, c'est le week-end et je suis contente parce que j'adore le week-end. Alors, pour toi, est-ce que tu te sens content aussi parce que c'est le week-end? Ou est-ce que tu te sens surpris parce qu'il n'y a pas de Zoom? Ou est-ce que tu te sens surpris ou confuse parce que Madame Hunter est absente aujourd'hui? Je suis absente. Madame Hunter est absente aujourd'hui. Alors, classe, comment tu te sens? Dis-moi. Bien? OK, on continue. Et dis-moi, quel temps fait-il? Quel temps fait-il, classe? Je vais regarder la météo. Classe, aujourd'hui, il ne neige pas. Oui, il ne neige pas. Et classe, aujourd'hui, il fait soleil. Super, j'aime le soleil. Il n'est pas nuageux. Il n'est pas, c'est négatif. Il n'est pas nuageux aujourd'hui et il ne fait pas chaud. Il ne fait pas chaud. Parce qu'il fait frais ou il fait froid? Je pense qu'aujourd'hui, il fait un peu froid. Oui, un peu. Pas très froid, mais un peu froid. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu penses? Il fait beau ou il fait mauvais? Moi, je pense qu'il fait beau. Pour moi, pour Madame Hunter, il fait beau parce que j'adore le soleil. J'adore le soleil. OK, et on continue avec la date, le calendrier. Alors, classe, c'est quel jour aujourd'hui? C'est lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi ou vendredi? Oui, classe, aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi. Alors, vendredi. J'adore vendredi. Classe, est-ce que tu adores vendredi? Oui, parce que c'est le week-end. C'est presque le week-end. Alors, c'est quelle date? C'est quel vendredi? Alors, mercredi, c'était le 14. Jeudi, le 15. Et vendredi, le 16. Alors, aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi, le 16. 16, S-E-I-Z-E, le 16 octobre 2020. Super. C'est le 16 octobre. Est-ce que c'est spécial? Est-ce que c'est une célébration pour toi? Est-ce que c'est ton anniversaire? Ou est-ce que c'est juste un vendredi normal? C'est normal? Alors, classe, j'aime vendredi ou j'adore vendredi parce que c'est le week-end. Demain, c'est le week-end. Demain, c'est samedi. Et classe, samedi, je vais célébrer. Avec les amis. Je vais célébrer avec les amis parce que mon ami qui s'appelle Samantha, mon ami qui s'appelle Sam, elle va se marier. Elle va se marier. Alors, samedi, c'est une célébration pour Sam. C'est une célébration de mariage. C'est une célébration avec les autres filles. Alors, c'est une célébration des filles. Alors, en anglais, on dirait wedding shower. Mais en français, wedding shower, ça n'existe pas. En français, on ne dit pas wedding shower. Alors, on juste dit une célébration. Une célébration de mariage de mon ami, avec une E parce que c'est une fille. Alors, mon amie Samantha. Alors, je vais célébrer avec tous mes amis, beaucoup d'amis. 1, 2, 3, peut-être 20 amis. Mais pas avec John, mon mari, et pas avec mon bébé Joshua. Non, juste les filles vont célébrer. Et ça, c'est samedi. Et dimanche, je vais changer la couleur. Dimanche, qu'est-ce que je vais faire dimanche? Dimanche matin, je vais aller à l'église. Dimanche, je vais aller à l'église. Église, c'est normal. Et je vais préparer pour une célébration. Célébration numéro 2. Il y a une deuxième célébration. Et la célébration dimanche, c'est pour mon bébé. C'est pour mon bébé. Pas Joshua, le nouveau bébé. C'est pour mon bébé. Alors, nous allons célébrer le bébé. Le bébé. Nous allons célébrer le bébé avec la famille et avec les amis. Alors, nous allons manger beaucoup le gâteau, la glace, la pizza. Nous allons manger pour célébrer le bébé. Nous allons célébrer parce que nous allons découvrir. Alors, je vais changer. Découvrir si le bébé, c'est un garçon ou une fille. Alors, nous allons découvrir si le bébé est un garçon ou une fille. Qu'est-ce que tu penses, classe? Tu penses que mon bébé, c'est un garçon ou tu penses que mon bébé, c'est une fille? Garçon ou fille? Nous allons célébrer dimanche. Dimanche avec la famille et les amis. Voilà. Ça, c'est mon week-end. Okay, class, a lot of stuff, a lot of new, oh, pardon. A lot of new stuff. So if you want to just rewind back to that video, that part of the video, you can. You do not have to. The class discussion is finished for right now. You just need to type in the box the keywords that you understand or understood. And it's okay if you don't understand everything, but what did you understand? What am I going to do the weekend? And you can just describe that in English just as much as what you understood. And any other questions which go with that discussion. And then we're going to move on. So pause the video or replay or go back to pause that part of the screen if you need to. If you kind of fully understood it, then just type in there and move on. Okay, class. So in this part, we're going to write up just a little bit for today, some of what we've learned. So I've got my timer on. I'm going to keep track of this lesson and make sure we don't go over time. Okay, so you do not need to write this down. If you want to write along with me, then you can and put it in your class notes. But I'm going to make sure these go into your shared class notes in our shared Google Drive. So you can always access them and write this up on another occasion during your like study day if you want to. Okay, so for today you do not have to write it down. It just depends how we're doing for time. If you have plenty of time and you want to, then go ahead. But if not, put this video on full screen and just watch along with me, listen and answer my questions as I ask you them. Okay, class, let's start with la date. Aujourd'hui, c'est quel jour? C'est jeudi ou c'est vendredi? Aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi, oui. Le 15 ou le 16? Le 16 octobre, oui, 2020. Classe, il fait soleil ou il pleut? Il fait soleil. Et il fait beau ou il fait mauvais? Il fait beau. Très bien. Pendant le week-end, Madame Hunter, moi, Madame Hunter, qu'est-ce que je vais faire? Va célébrer, oui, célébrer le mariage d'une amie. Classe, c'est un ami ou une amie? C'est une fille ou un garçon? C'est une fille, oui. Alors, c'est une amie qui s'appelle, comment elle s'appelle? Samantha, oui. Elle va aller à la célébration des filles. Des filles. Il n'y a pas de garçons. Il n'y a pas de garçons, c'est juste les filles. OK, classe. Je vais insérer un accent et voilà, insérer un accent à et célébration, il y a 2 E avec les accents. Dimanche, qu'est-ce que je vais faire dimanche? Dimanche, elle va aller à l'église. Très bien. Après l'église, après, elle va célébrer Après, il y a un accent grave. Célébrer, il y a deux accents. Voilà. Après, elle va célébrer le nouveau bébé. Le nouveau bébé. Copie, coller. Le nouveau bébé. C'est une célébration de découvrir. Oh, découvrir. La sexe du bébé. C'est une fille ou un garçon? Alors, class, il y a beaucoup. Okay, so you do not have to copy this down. I'm going to make this accessible to you. I'm just going to read it out to you, and then we're going to check a couple of things because there's some kind of more complex things in here. And the way that I teach, we don't shy away from complex stuff. We're not following a textbook. I do try and keep it as simple as possible, but today sometimes, you know, some challenging stuff comes up because that's real life. My real life is not always watching TV. Sometimes I do other things, and this weekend is an example of that. So I'm going to read it in French, and then I'll read it through to you again in English. And you don't have to do anything with this, but it may be some like words that you want to like kind of just let sink in. And some words you might not ever use again, and some words we might do. So we'll see. Aujourd'hui, c'est vendredi, le 16 octobre 2020. Il fait soleil et il fait beau. Pendant le week-end, Madame Hunter va célébrer le mariage d'une amie qui s'appelle Samantha. Elle va aller à la célébration des filles. Dimanche, elle va aller à l'église. Après, elle va célébrer le nouveau bébé. C'est une célébration de découvrir la sexe du bébé. C'est une fille ou un garçon. OK, je vais répéter en anglais. Today, it is Friday, the 16th of October, 2020. It is sunny and it is nice weather. Over or during the weekend, Mrs. Hunter is going to celebrate the marriage of a friend who is called Samantha. She is going to go to the celebration of the girls. So this is kind of a long way of expressing going to a wedding shower because the word wedding shower doesn't exist in French. The practice, the cultural celebration of that doesn't exist. It's American. So sometimes we can try and find those kind of words, but sometimes there's never really adequate, like literal translations. So just kind of trying to describe the objects or the events or the things that we want to say is super useful. So knowing a wide range, knowing how to problem solve and not always just go word for word literal translation, but describing is really useful. I've had to do it many, many times when I've gone to France because some things just do not translate. Literally, it just doesn't exist. Or you just don't know what it is. So you can describe it. Sunday, she's going to go to church. After, she is going to celebrate the new baby. So this word here, nouveau, is new. It is a celebration of discovering or to discover the sex of the baby. Sorry, this is of the baby. Again, a gender reveal party doesn't exist in France. It is a very American tradition, pretty new tradition too. So there is no literal translation for this. So 2 occasions this weekend that are very culturally American and not French. So describing that it's celebrating the new baby, that it's describing a celebration that discovers the gender or the sex, and then to kind of reiterate the point, it is a girl or a boy, because that's usually what it is. It's that kind of party is like guessing whether it's a girl or a boy. Okay. Hello, class. We're going to finish a little bit today. We've still got a little bit of time. So I wanted to share with you this activity was something that you did a couple of days ago, where you worked on some translations from English to French. So here and this was the results that I received from the Google form. And obviously they're not all the results. There's just a selection of results from a selection of students. So the first sentence you had to translate was, I love ice cream. The second one was, you like chocolate, as a question. And then the third one was, he hates high school. So I was kind of testing you a little bit on, like, not in a graded way, but just in a way that you get to check yourself. And so you may see your answer up on here or you may not. Then I want you to have a little look down the list, and I'm going to do this with people in class. So if you are I'm just going to give you, like, I don't know, 30 seconds to have a look through and see if you can identify any sentences there which you think are the right translation from the English to the French. Okay, you can pause the video as long as you need to. There is a space for you to answer this on the Google form. So I don't want you to make another guess. I'm going to tell you the correct translation and see whether you were right, and then type it in correctly. Whether you were right the first time or you've just been corrected through this video, it doesn't really matter as long as we all get to the right answer. So I love ice cream. This first one is fine. J'aime la glace, that's fine. They do have periods, so period is fine. We don't need j'ai adore. J'ai is I have, and this is love. So I have love, and then glass is feminine as well. So this one's definitely not right. This word here is love. So most people, a better translation might be j'adore la glace. So this one is fine. This one is fine. Glacé, nope. There's just a space here, so that wouldn't be right. This should be L, not an I. So any of the ones which say j'aime, I would also accept, because in French, j'aime, we've been saying as if j'aime is just I like. The French are very, like, what's the word? Not super enthusiastic about stuff. They're very, like, downbeat. So if they say j'aime la glace, that's also can mean I like or I love. They say, well, je t'aime, I love you, is je t'aime. So M can be for love as well. So I would accept any of those. So what about you like chocolate? Now I think everybody here put the verb aimer. So that would be fine. Tu aimes le chocolat, starting off well, but chocolat does not have an E on the end in French. This one, tu aimes le chocolat, perfect sentence. No E, capitalized with an S, with tu aimes, question mark, wonderful. So again, this is fine, except we're missing the le. This should be le, chocolat is not feminine. This is Spanish. No S, no S. Tu aimes le chocolat, that's fine, but you can, the French do capitalize at the beginning of sentences. This would have been okay if it had an L and a question mark, and that should have been an E with a question mark. So just a few people like perfect on that one. And that's okay, because you haven't practiced as much with the to form. You hear it all the time, and you might see it, but you haven't used it as much as you have the je. Okay, so that makes sense to me. Let's have a look at the last one. He hates high school. Now we're going to have some issues here. I threw this one in because there's definitely accents in this response. The first two translations, there's no accents in any of those words. But this third one, there are accents. So this first one is wrong because we don't have the accents. And you need to be working on that to get your French perfect. It's not spelt right if there's no accent. So by this point, we're in the second quarter now. You need to be making sure that you can put accents in. Il déteste le lycée, perfect. I don't know why some people are struggling with the word for high school because we've done it enough times that it's le lycée, good. So at least everybody that's using lycée has put le because it is masculine, except here again, this person keeps using an I, so just be careful with that. Don't know whether it's something to do with your keyboard maybe, and then they're using this instead of an accent. So you really need to be making sure you're getting your accent. Il déteste le lycée, that's great. You can just also, don't forget your punctuation, that's fine, I'd accept it. No accents. Il déteste le lycée, that's fine. Okay, so this one's not done too badly as well, apart from all the people that didn't get lycée. So at least now you know, if you're watching this video, that high school is lycée. They just use one word, le lycée represents high school instead of we have two words. Okay, cool. So if you need to pause this video, find one which has a check by it, like one which is perfect, and go ahead and you can type that in to the Google form. So you demonstrate to me that you've watched this and that you understand what is a good translation, what is the correct translation. Okay, and we are going to, I think, finish with this activity. We're doing this in class, and we're actually going to do this by speaking to one another and guessing. And it's a shame that when you're learning virtually like this, we're not able to do that. But I'm going to work on a way that if you put this in the Google form, I will figure out a way to do this either with you on Zoom or incorporate it into a video in the next week or two. Okay, so for this activity, it's called two truths and a lie, but in French. So two truths, vrai is true, et un faux is a falsity, so something that's false, it's a lie. Okay, so you're going to read each of those, I'm going to read each of those sentences to you, and you are going to choose and select and type into the Google form which one is a lie, and they're all about me, Madame Hunter. So how well do you know me by now? Have you been paying attention to me? Hopefully you have. So, numéro 1, j'aime le chocolat. Numéro 2, je déteste les serpents. Et numéro 3, je n'aime pas le café. Je n'aime pas le café. Okay, class, pause the video. Type in which one do you think it is the false, the lie, la phrase fausse. Okay, and if you chose numéro 3, you would be correct. Oui, class, je n'aime pas le café is not true. It is not true. J'aime le chocolat is true. I do like chocolate. Je déteste les serpents is true. I hate snakes. But it is false that I don't like coffee. Yes, I do. J'adore le café. So this one is false. Okay, cool. So I don't think, let me go. Okay, so then the next part is where, and this is how we're going to finish the lesson, you are going to write 3 of your own sentences in French about yourself. And on the form, I'm asking you to write like this, your first sentence true, second sentence true, and your last sentence to be false, mais en français. You can leave this here on the screen and you can follow j'aime, je déteste, je n'aime pas, or you could do all 3, j'aime, 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 je déteste, je déteste, je déteste. I don't mind, but you kind of figure out what your ending is for you. Is it le café, le lycée, le chocolat, la glace, regarder la télévision, faire les devoirs, or any of the words that we've done so far, le chien, les chats, anything. Just 3 simple sentences like this. about you. Okay, so you can be creative, but don't look anything up. Don't use the dictionary. You're doing this in the next 2 minutes, just quickly, in French, based on what you already know. Simple, simple French, okay? All right, I look forward to seeing some of those answers and being surprised. Au revoir, class. À la prochaine.